I come into this work, and I say this whenever I step into the room, wearing two hats, right? I'm myself a third generation inheritor, a donor myself, you know, who practice philanthropy with my family back home in Indonesia. I have really deep roots where I come from. I can trace my heritage through generations and generations in the past. So I have a rich cultural background, not only in terms of our giving, but also just in terms of our family and what that means and how that relates to philanthropy and the giving that I do now in the United States, individually as well. But on the other side of it, I'm also a professional, right, that does this work with donors themselves. So I think having that added perspective of both being a donor and also being a professional provides me with the opportunity to see some nuances in the field and in the spaces that I'm in that are unique and very different. I think that sometimes when I step into the room, due to the way that I look and that I don't look like a traditional white woman, man, person donor, they would expect that I'm in that room showing up today as a professional or as a fundraiser, or even sometimes not that. Like sometimes my space in the room, I need to come in and define that for myself, because no one else is going to, and the culture and the media isn't going to do that. So that's I think one way that I see my perspective very different in this field. And then secondly, as a professional, I inherently know how I want to be treated as a donor, or I inherently know how I want to be honored, or how I want professionals to speak to my values, and how I want professionals to sort of advise me as a next gen, not in a way that's like, you are the son or the daughter of someone that I'm working with, and you are the child of X person, but really as my own, with my own ideas, and embracing me as someone who has a unique perspective. So I think in both hats that I wear, I always strive to be seen and heard, and to redefine who I am as a leader. And I think what the field, in my opinion, does really well is provide opportunities for donors to thrive, and provide opportunities for donors to learn and to connect, and to really hone their philanthropic skills. And as a donor, I've also benefited from these educational opportunities. But I think when it comes to professionals, what we at 2164 provides, and I think what the field needs to do more and cultivate, is the caring, the sustaining, and the cultivation of professionals in the field, especially BIPOC professionals in the field, because of the nuances and the power dynamics that we experience. And that's, I think, what the Certified Advisors of Color program is trying to achieve. We are trying to balance out the playing field, level the playing field, and say, if donors and funders are having all of these opportunities and all of these wonderful learning and community building, then the individuals that guide them, help them steward their resources, that support them, deserve not the same, because they're different, but an equitable amount of caring and feeding of their souls and their intellect. And both of my perspectives as a donor, as a professional, and a person of color, and as someone who's young, who's oftentimes overlooked, and oftentimes like, who's this girl talking over here like really loudly about doing all these crazy things. It's and then having a supervisor and a board of directors and an executive director that listens to me and hears me, and professionals that believe in me, is all accumulating of like who I am as an individual, and as someone that leads this program currently.